Philippines just changed tennis forever. Eala's shocking new title, a massive gift, and the emotional breakdown that brought the world to its knees. Welcome back to Court Vision Plus, the only channel that gives you the raw, unfiltered, absolutely explosive truth about everything happening in the world of tennis. If you are a returning subscriber, you already know we do not play games here. We bring you the stories that shake the sport to its very core. And if you are brand new to this channel, then baby, you have picked the perfect moment to walk through the door, because what we are about to cover right now is without question the most jaw-dropping, tear-inducing, fist-pumping moment in Philippine sports history. We are not exaggerating. We are not clickbaiting. We are dead serious. What unfolded in Manila just hours ago has sent shockwaves from the courts of Dubai all the way to the hallowed halls of the WTA headquarters, and the tennis world has absolutely no idea how to respond. So lock in, turn your phone over, and give us your undivided attention, because the story of Eala just entered a brand new chapter, and it is one for the ages. Let us set the scene. Over the past several weeks, the name Eala has been on everyone's lips for reasons that have ignited fury, sparked national pride, and exposed the deep fault lines running through the global tennis establishment. If you have been following along, you know exactly what we are talking about, the Dubai debacle. The umpiring controversy that had the entire Philippine nation up in arms, social media erupting in multiple languages, and tennis journalists around the world scrambling to make sense of what they were seeing unfold in real time on the court. For those who need a quick refresher, Eala, the Philippines' golden girl, the prodigy who has been rewriting the record books since she was a teenager, found herself on the wrong end of a series of deeply questionable officiating calls during a crucial match in Dubai. The kind of calls that make you throw your remote across the room. The kind that leave you staring at your screen with your mouth hanging open, wondering if the people making these decisions have ever actually watched a tennis match in their lives. The international tennis community was divided. Some voices, predictably, the same voices that always seem to underestimate athletes who do not fit their narrow, Eurocentric template of what a tennis champion is supposed to look like, tried to wave it away. They called it part of the game. They talked about the margin of error. They used all the classic, dismissive language that powerful institutions reach for when they do not want to deal with accountability. But the Philippine tennis community? They were having absolutely none of it. And neither were the millions of Filipino fans watching from every corner of the globe, from the streets of Makati to the suburbs of Toronto to the living rooms of Los Angeles. The fire was already burning hot. And then, just when everyone was waiting for the WTA to issue some kind of formal response, some kind of acknowledgement that what happened in Dubai deserved scrutiny, the Philippine Tennis Federation did something that nobody in the entire world saw coming. Here's where the story detonates into something truly historic. The headquarters of PHILTA, the Philippine Tennis Federation, located in the heart of Manila, suddenly became the most watched building on the planet. An emergency press conference was called with almost no prior notice. Reporters were scrambling. Camera crews were rushing in from every major outlet. Nobody knew exactly what was about to be announced. The speculation was running wild. Was there going to be a formal protest filed against the WTA? Was Eala herself going to make a statement? Was there some kind of disciplinary action incoming? The room filled up fast, the air thick with tension and anticipation, and then PHILTA President Eric Olivares walked to the podium. And the moment he opened his mouth, the entire landscape of Philippine sports changed forever. Olivares did not mince words. He did not offer a carefully rehearsed, politically sanitized statement designed to protect relationships with international tennis bodies. He came out swinging, emotionally, powerfully, and with a clarity of purpose that had everyone in the room leaning forward in their chairs. His voice trembled with genuine emotion as he looked into the cameras and made an announcement that nobody had even dreamed was coming. He declared, with absolute conviction, that Eala is not merely the pride of Philippine tennis, she is a symbol of resilience and extraordinary talent for the entire world. And then he dropped the bombshell. Philta, he announced, was presenting Alex with a massive surprise gift and a brand new title created specifically for the year 2026. You could hear the audible gasp ripple through the room like a shockwave. Journalists who had been furiously typing stopped mid-keystroke. The cameras kept flashing, but the people behind them had momentarily forgotten how to breathe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I respectfully present House Bill number 5790, a measure that seeks to align the implementation of Republic Act number...
Now here is the part that truly separates this moment from every other sports federation announcement you have ever seen in your life. Alvarez revealed that Philta was officially establishing what they are calling the Alexandra Eala National Excellence Laureate. Take a moment to let that sink in. This is not a trophy. This is not a plaque on a wall. This is not a certificate handed out at an awards banquet. This is a lifetime honorary distinction, an elite, rarefied level of national recognition that is almost never granted to any athlete and has, to anyone's knowledge, never before been created for an active player who is still in the heat of competition, still grinding through a full professional season, still fighting for ranking points and tournament victories. The fact that Philta broke all precedent to create this for Alex Eala, right now, in the middle of an ongoing controversy, is an unmistakable message to the entire world. It is a declaration that says, we do not need your validation. We do not need your rulings. We do not need your timeline. We know exactly who Alexandra Eala is, and we are not waiting for anyone else to figure it out. But the announcement did not end there. Because alongside the historic laureate title, Alvarez confirmed the creation of a massive, heavily funded endowment, a financial legacy dedicated entirely to the development of youth tennis across the Philippines, established completely in Alex's name. This is where the announcement shifts from symbolic to seismic. This is not just recognition, this is investment. This is infrastructure. This is a federation saying that Alex Eala's impact on Philippine tennis is so profound, so generational, that they are literally building a future around her legacy while she is still actively creating it. The endowment will fund training programs, equipment, coaching development, and tournament opportunities for young Filipino athletes who might otherwise never get the chance to pursue their dreams professionally. It is, in the most literal sense, Alex Eala changing lives, not just through what she does on the court, but through the institution that her story has inspired. The strategic brilliance of this move cannot be overstated. By taking bold, decisive, unilateral action rather than waiting for an international tennis body to issue a verdict on the Dubai controversy, Philta completely seized control of the narrative. They flipped the script on everyone. What could have remained a story about injustice, bitter, frustrating, and ultimately unresolved, became a story about triumph, legacy, and national sovereignty. The global conversation shifted overnight from what happened to Alex in Dubai to, oh my God, what just happened for Alex in Manila? And that shift was entirely intentional. It was a masterstroke. It was a statement that said the Philippines does not define its heroes by whether or not they get the right calls from an umpire. They define their heroes by character, by resilience, by the way they carry themselves when the whole world is watching and the pressure is almost unbearable. And speaking of pressure, let us talk about what Alex Eala has been quietly dealing with behind the scenes during all of this chaos. Because while the Federation was preparing their historic announcement, and while social media was absolutely on fire, and while the International Tennis Commentariat was fumbling around trying to figure out what to say, Alex herself was doing what she always does. She was training. Head down, work rate up, completely focused on the only thing she can truly control, her game, her development, and her preparation for what is shaping up to be the most consequential season of her young career. There were reports circulating in the days following Dubai about the immense psychological weight of being at the center of a controversy of this magnitude. The scrutiny, the noise, the hot takes, the relentless social media commentary, all of it directed at a young woman who is, let us remember, still early in what promises to be an extraordinarily long and decorated professional career. And yet, by all accounts, she handled it with a composure that left her coaches and support team genuinely awestruck. No public outbursts. No inflammatory social media posts. No feeding of the fire. Just quiet, disciplined, purposeful work. That restraint, that almost supernatural ability to keep her head while everyone around her is losing theirs, is precisely what makes the live video moment at the Manila press conference so overwhelmingly powerful. Because just when reporters thought the announcements were over, just when the room was starting to come down from the initial wave of shock and excitement, the organizers dimmed the lights. And a giant screen behind the podium flickered to life. And there she was, Alexandra Eala, live via video link from her overseas training base, in her training clothes, looking like she had literally just stepped off the practice court. No glam squad, no carefully curated backdrop, no teleprompter. Just Alex, real and raw, looking directly into a camera with an expression that broke every heart in that room simultaneously. For a few agonizing, beautiful seconds, she said nothing. She simply sat there, visibly processing the enormity of what was happening, the weight of an entire nation's love crashing over her in real time through a webcam screen. The room in Manila, which had been buzzing and crackling with frantic energy just moments before, fell into a silence so complete you could have heard a pin drop. And then she began to speak. Softly at first, with a steadiness in her voice that only comes from someone who has done serious internal work. She did not rage against the umpires. She did not issue a manifesto against the WTA. She did not perform outrage for the cameras. Instead, she thanked Philta with genuine, overwhelming gratitude. She thanked her coaches, her family, and her support system. And then she turned her attention to the millions of Filipino fans watching from around the world, the ones who had been sending her messages of love and support since Dubai, who had been defending her honor online, who had been lighting candles and saying prayers and posting videos of themselves rallying behind her on tennis courts in every city and province across the archipelago. She acknowledged Dubai. She acknowledged the difficulty of the past few weeks. But in true champion fashion, she refused to let the controversy define her or the moment.
You mentioned that you only turned 20, so obviously you have a long way to go. But if by some chance the 12-year-old version of you could realize what was about to happen the next...
She talked about growth. She talked about discipline. She talked about her love for the sport of tennis and her deep, abiding respect for the game, even when the game does not always seem to respect her back. And then, and this is the moment that is going to live in Philippine sports history forever, her composure finally cracked, just barely, just enough. Her voice wavered. Her eyes glistened. And she looked directly into that webcam and delivered a line that hit like a freight train. I carry the Philippines with me every time I step on court. The room in Manila erupted. Hardened sports journalists were visibly weeping. Federation officials who had watched 1,000 press conferences over decades of working in sports were reaching for tissues. Social media captured the moment instantaneously and it was trending globally within minutes. Because in 9 words, Alex Eala captured everything: the pride, the sacrifice, the love, the purpose, and the unbreakable bond between an athlete and her people. Now let us zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture, because the shockwaves from all of this extend far, far beyond one press conference and one emotional video call. What Philta did today, and what Alex's response crystallized, is being analyzed by sports governance experts, cultural commentators, and geopolitical observers as something genuinely unprecedented in the world of professional tennis. For decades, the global tennis establishment has operated with a certain assumed hierarchy. Certain nations, certain traditions, certain types of players occupy the center of the sports universe, and everyone else is expected to orbit quietly around them. The Dubai controversy and its aftermath have cracked that assumption wide open. The Philippines, through the vehicle of Alexandra Eala, has stood up in the middle of that comfortable, self-satisfied establishment and said, "We are not orbiting you anymore. We are claiming our space. We are building our own legacy. And we will not wait for your permission." The ripple effects of this cultural moment are already being felt at the grassroots level in ways that no marketing campaign could ever manufacture. Across the Philippines, parents are signing their daughters up for tennis lessons at rates the sport has never seen in the country's history. Sporting goods stores in Manila, Cebu, and Davao are reporting that rackets, particularly beginner and junior sizes, are selling out within hours of being restocked. Tennis courts and public parks that were previously underutilized are suddenly packed every single morning with young girls, some of them barely old enough to hold a racket properly, swinging away with a ferocity and a focus that comes from deep, genuine inspiration. And it is not just happening in the Philippines. In Filipino communities in California, in Illinois, in New York, in the UAE, in Hong Kong, and across Europe, parents are sharing videos of their children picking up tennis for the first time. The coaches at youth programs in these communities report that every single one of these kids, when asked why they want to play tennis, says the same name: Alex Eala. What Filter did today was not just a feel-good moment in the middle of a difficult news cycle. It was a declaration of intent. It was a blueprint for how a national sports federation can stand in the gap when international institutions move too slowly, speak too carefully, or simply fail to see the human being at the center of the controversy. They saw their athlete. They saw their moment. And they acted with a boldness and a love that will be talked about in Philippine sports history for generations. And Alex Eala, composed, gracious, tearful, strong, responded in exactly the way that champions respond. Not with noise. Not with anger. Not with ego. With heart. So here we are, Court Vision Plus family, at the end of what has been an absolutely extraordinary day in the tennis world. A day that started with the simmering tension of an unresolved controversy and ended with a historic press conference, a lifetime title, a multi-million-dollar endowment, a viral emotional breakdown, a Serena Williams alliance, and 9 words that will echo through the sport for years to come. Alexandra Eala came into 2026 already carrying the hopes and dreams of a nation. She leaves this chapter of the story carrying something even heavier and even more beautiful, proof that those hopes and dreams are not misplaced. That she is exactly who we always believed she was. That the Philippines was right to love her this fiercely. And that the tennis world, whether it is ready or not, is going to have to make room for a new kind of champion, one who carries her country in her heart and wears it on her sleeve every single time she steps onto that court. This has been Court Vision Plus, and we are just getting started. If this story moved you, if it gave you goosebumps, if you found yourself tearing up right along with those journalists in Manila, smash that like button right now and let the algorithm know that this is exactly the kind of content you want to see more of. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to know everything. Do you think Filter made the right move by acting before the WTA issued a ruling? Do you believe the Alexandra Eala National Excellence Laureate is going to give her extra motivation to dominate the rest of the season? Who do you think she is going to beat first in what is shaping up to be an absolutely legendary year? And most importantly, are you ready for what comes next? Because based on everything we witnessed today, what comes next for Alexandra Eala is going to be absolutely unforgettable. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, share this video with every tennis fan you know, and we will see you right back here for the next chapter. Court Vision Plus, where the drama is always real, the love is always genuine, and the tennis is always extraordinary. See you soon.
And, I just hope that the support continues with the losses along with the wins. I think that